back with comedian David Boyle, and I'm quitting alcohol. The Australian ladies soccer team is playing off for third right now, but who gives a fuck? Who cares about the third place playoff? I never understood why they even bother with that game. Just fucking move on, please. It's all about the winner. No one gives a fuck about the losers. I was briefly watching it for a couple of seconds, and it was right before halftime, and a Swedish player and an Australian player clashed heads, and the Swedish player started crying. And I was like, all right, come on. That's enough of that. No crying on the field, unless it's tears of joy from winning. But then I was like, whenever I played sport and I got a little injury, I felt like crying as well. I really felt like crying, not just like pretend cry. I had to push it down though, because you can't be crying on the field. Boyle started crying. The game hadn't even started yet. It was very cold and he burst into tears. So in the end, I kind of respect the tears. I wish we all could just go out on the field and just cry our eyes out together. Just form a big huddle and just fuck the game. Let's not even play the game. Let's just get out there and just have a cry together. I'm into it. I would come out of sports retirement just to do that. Just have a big fucking cry. I was at the Salvos today, the Salvation Army secondhand store, looking for some fucking CDs for the car. And I fucking stumbled on an album by the brilliant Fanzine. It's called Then Comes Monday. And I was like, what the fuck is that band? Why do I know that band? And then it fucking clicked. I looked inside the cover and I'm like, that's right. My friend, comedian, fucking Matt O'Neill, when he was like in his 20s, he was the lead singer of a band that fucking released an album. The band's The Brilliant Fanzine and the album was Then Comes Monday. So fucking for $2 in the second-hand store, I picked up my man fucking Matt O'Neill's album from the early 2000s. I haven't had a chance to have a listen to it, but fucking I'm excited. I was talking about a band, Kiss Chasey, the other day. The band that fucking the cunts went to my school and everyone hated them. They played their first ever fucking show at Dromana High School. One of the listeners of this podcast was a Kiss Chasey fan when he was like 13 and sent me a link to an article of the Kiss Chasey cunts talking about playing at Dromana. Anyway, they fucking said it went good. It didn't go good. No one gave a fuck about Kiss Chasey at our school. The band we loved at our school was a fucking punk band. It was the loosest fucking cunt you've ever met in your entire life. This guy named Stu, who was like a heroin addict at 16, like a professional heroin addict at 16, had this punk band called The Bad Frogs. And it was a fucking absolute mess. But everyone fucking loved it because it was 16-year-old heroin addicts playing in a fucking punk band. And Stu was like the guitarist. He had no idea how to play guitar or sing. And he was the lead singer and the guitarist. And they played as well the same day. And they just started fucking kicking the shit out of everything. They were so fucked, the Bad Frogs. But they were the spiritual band of Dromana Tech. I tried to fucking YouTube them. Like, there is a band called the Bad Frogs, but they seem to be Spanish or something. And they're a punk rock band as well. I would say if you did a Where Are They Now of the Bad Frogs, 3 or 4 of them would have died of a heroin overdose. I don't know what happened to Stu. Stu's best friend in high school was my mate Will Thomas's best friend. And they were both doing like heroin and shit together in high school. My mate Will, I did an episode about him fucking years ago. He ended up dying. He wasn't part of the band, but he was very closely associated. Stu used to walk around school this is every day. We had a uniform at our school, but Stu used to walk around in a leather jacket that was like fucking ripped to shreds. He had like fucking safety pins all through it. different patches everywhere. It was just falling apart. His jeans were just ripped to shreds. He would just walk around the school smoking darts. He was he was so fucking punk rock. He would go to like some classes and then he would just leave the school. He would just walk out and see you later. I'm going to fucking smoke billies and take heroin or something. I wish they would fucking reform, but they're probably all dead. Another guy who was close friends with Will and Stu, Kane Besson. He lived under a bridge for like 2 years. And he was a full-blown heroin addict. This is at high school. He stopped going to high school to concentrate on heroin. And then just before year 12, I think he was like 18, he ended up ODing on heroin and dying. And then there was another guy, Kevin Butler, who was best friends with Besson. They were heroin junkies together. Last I heard of Butler was he is unrecognizable and still on the heroin. They were some wild fucking dudes though. They were like 4 or 5 fucking levels from where we were. None of those guys were going to be here for a long time. Just a good time. And it didn't even look like they were having that much of a good time. It looked like fucking nightmarish, to be honest with you. Anyway, there's a little bit more of the history of the fucking musicians who passed through Dromana Secondary College. Anyway, fucking that'll do it for tonight. If you're enjoying the podcast, give it a share around. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and I'll fucking see you the fuck later.